Revenge films.
My mother-in-law has been mean to me since I started living with her after marriage. She mainly picked on me for not quitting my job and not having children. And she also wouldn't stop speaking ill of my parents. My husband and I have been married for less than a month. Every time my mother-in-law insulted me and my family, my husband would defend me by yelling back at her. Even if I told my mother-in-law that I was pregnant, she would say something like, "Who knows who kid you're pregnant with?" My husband works at a major corporation and has been in charge of a department since he was young, making quite some money. I was a preschool teacher, which may be why my mother-in-law couldn't accept our marriage. My husband and I met through a mutual friend and started dating afterward. It was my husband who asked me out. I thought we would spend more time by getting to know each other before getting married, but...
I can't think of anyone else I want to marry. Would you marry me?
He proposed on our third date. I was surprised, but I trusted his honest and straightforward attitude, so I said yes. Then I met my mother-in-law for the first time. She told us she would agree to our marriage if we moved in with her. My husband told me when we were dating that he had to take care of his mother because his father had passed away. Some of my friends were also living with their in-laws, so I agreed to my mother-in-law's request without hesitation. Little did I know my life would become hell because of that. She started to nitpick about everything I did and frequently spoke her famous line, "You're living in my house. Do as I say, or you're free to leave any time." My father-in-law built the house decades ago, but I only moved in because my mother-in-law made it a condition of our marriage. I think my mother-in-law had never liked me from the beginning. She probably asked me to move in so she could bully me and get rid of me. Maybe she intended to ruin my relationship with my husband by making my life so difficult that I would complain to him all the time. She believed her son would be on her side no matter what she said or did to me. She even started inviting my husband's sister over frequently to make things more uncomfortable for me. My sister-in-law is married, has a child, and lives in the neighborhood. Apparently, she thought my mother-in-law would get more money from my husband if I left. I think my mother-in-law and sister-in-law often had lunch together to talk about those things.
Hey, did you even clean the house? It doesn't look like it's been cleaned at all.
My sister-in-law would come over whenever she was free and look for things to pick on me. I didn't have children yet, so I didn't quit my job after getting married. Of course, I cleaned the house every day, but there wasn't enough time for a thorough cleaning. I'm sorry, but I get busy with work sometimes.
Huh? Is that your excuse?
In the beginning, I thought my mother-in-law would help me with the housework since she had been doing it before we moved in. But she scolded me. "You are just using work as an excuse to avoid doing housework. Go cook and clean the house now." I could tolerate her at first because my husband was very protective of me. But it became more and more stressful to deal with my mother-in-law, not to mention my sister-in-law. So my husband said to me,
"Let's move out. We don't have to live here."
My husband had never expected his mother to hate and bully me so much after I moved in. I was surprised when my husband told me he had been looking for a new place during his lunch breaks. Really? Are you sure about moving out?
How can I let you live with my mother when you're so unhappy? I thought I could talk to her and make her stop bullying you. What she does only got worse.
Because we made an agreement with my mother-in-law before getting married, I never thought we had the option to move out. So I almost couldn't believe it when my husband said we could stop living with her if it bothered me. My husband told me he mainly agreed to my mother's condition so she'd be supportive of our marriage, and he was thankful that his mother didn't give me a hard time. But such gratitude faded when she started picking on me. I'm relieved, to be honest. Your mother and sister have been mean and said some hurtful things to me. But can we really move out? My husband replied,
Remember my mother's favorite thing to say whenever there was an argument? She would say something like, "You're living in my house, and move out if you don't do as I say." So I'll use her own words against her.
Then my husband showed me an apartment listing.
I've been eyeing this place for a while. It's closer to your work.
It's so nice! Not only is it close to my work, but there's also a drugstore and a supermarket nearby. It'll be convenient to pick up groceries whenever we need.
I'm glad that you like it. I'll sign the lease then.
Thank you! I was thrilled about moving out. Later that day, my mother-in-law and sister-in-law picked on me again and said their usual lines. Why don't you leave if you don't like how we do things at home? My late husband built this house, and I have every right to kick you out.
Exactly. You never stop causing problems for us. Just divorce my brother and get the hell out of here.
Then they laughed at me, thinking it was their victory again. But I was waiting for them to say that. Sure, I'll leave then, I answered with a smile. That's right. Get the hell out of my house and leave my son. What? Why would I leave your son? What do you mean? You said you'll leave.
Yeah, I heard you say that too.
My husband and I are leaving together. Huh? I brought out our suitcases I had packed beforehand. In fact, I had been moving our belongings to the new apartment every time my mother-in-law went shopping. Since we had already signed the contract, the new apartment was ready to move in. Wait a minute, my son is moving out with you? Of course, we're married. Oh, that's right. My husband has been covering your living expenses, right, mother-in-law? It won't be necessary for him to do that now, right? We'll be living separately from now on. What? Don't worry, your pension should cover your basic living expenses. If you need financial help, I'm sure you can get help from your daughter.
What? Why me? Stop joking!
In fact, my husband had already spoken to your husband about this. He told your husband we would have to move out because you and your mother have been bullying me at the home. He asked your husband to take care of your mother from now on.
What? Are you kidding me?
It's true. I'm going to start a new life without the both of you, so take care, mother-in-law and sister-in-law. Wait a minute. I'll forgive you this time. No, I'll forgive you for everything you've done to allow you to keep living here. So cancel the apartment right now. But I don't want to live here anymore. I've always wanted to leave this house, and I'm glad my husband suggested moving. No, it can't be true. Wait a minute. Later, my sister-in-law's husband talked to her after learning that she's been bothering me.
You've got to be kidding me! She's your sister-in-law! How can you treat her like that? I'm sorry, but I can't deal with this. I'll take our son and leave. You can take care of your mother. You deserve everything coming to you.
Wait a minute, honey.
Then my brother-in-law left with their son. My mother-in-law struggles to live a normal life after my husband cut her off financially. She's now living in poverty with her daughter, who was kicked out of her house and is about to get divorced. As for my husband and I, we are living comfortably in our new apartment. Because I no longer had to deal with stress every day, I soon discovered I was pregnant. With the support of my husband and work, I'm living happily and looking forward to the birth of our first child.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.